Hey guys, just here with James Michael from Justified Talent. We've recently finished a project with them and have some ongoing work with them as well, as part of their vision and they're kind of rolling out at the moment as that next level. But I just wanted to ask James a few questions and just get his experience and for him to share a little bit about the project and what we're able to achieve. Thanks, James, for jumping on.
My pleasure, mate.
Awesome. So just to give everyone a bit of an insight, do you want to give me the kind of one sentence or kind of snapshot of what you guys do?
Yeah, sure. So at Justified Talent, we specialize in helping small business owners to recruit their very first sales professional.
Excellent. And as I mentioned to you the other day, like I've seen that firsthand, the excellent work you guys do, which is great. So in terms of where you guys were up to before kind of reaching out, I know you're kind of in the market for dashboards and kind of solving a key problem or a key advancement of your model. What was the kind of situation you're in and why did that become relevant?
Look, I think one of the key things, so, we help small business owners recruit their first, which often does not means that the business owner isn't well-versed at being a sales manager, right? So as the new person starts, what we wanted to do, because we're committed to helping small business owners be increasingly more successful through making more sales, what we wanted to do was to help them learn how to manage the salesperson and help the salesperson also stay on track. And one of the key ways in which you need to do that today is by gathering and then looking at data. So the dashboard just made complete sense.
Yeah, totally. And so it's one of those things that's so prevalent. And I think like it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts just quickly around, obviously you've got a dashboard, right? And it's got some numbers on a screen, but it kind of, it's behind that, right? It's the methodology. It's as you guys are kind of rolling out and on a sales management level,
Yep.
It's kind of that accountability. It's that, that visibility. It's the structure around you're approaching that. What's your kind of spin on that in terms of the relevance of being able to kind of see the workings behind it as well?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's really, really important. There's data and data and data and data that's available, and it can overwhelm people. And I think, and this probably isn't a direct answer to what you're asking, and I'll get to that. But, one of the things that I found with a lot of dashboards and even spreadsheets in days gone by was that they were something that was done to the salesperson rather than for the salesperson, right? And that's anathema to me. Our job as managers or leaders and business owners, whether we like it or not, when we get a salesperson on, is to help the salesperson be more successful. And so by giving them visibility to what their numbers are actually doing and therefore helping them understand, we need to tweak that number or we need to tweak that number, that's going to help them be more successful in the role. And that's ultimately what everybody wants. So yeah, I mean, the philosophy that we take is very simply, we call it a formula that we call QDQ. So we're interested in the quantity of activity that's going on, the direction. So who are you talking to? Are you talking to the right people? And then the quality of the conversation, right? Yeah. And what the dashboard allows us to do is really get insights into each of those three QDQs.
And I think one of the biggest things that from our conversations as well, and what we've been able to produce is that it's kind of a fine line between quality and depth versus keeping it simple too. Because at the same time, like with a salesperson, as you know firsthand, it's like you have to keep it incredibly simple, but keep it practical and provide a little bit of depth, so it's not just fluff on the top of on the surface level. So
yeah, absolutely. So then again, an analogy that I draw on and often share with business owners is if you take a look at the cockpit of an F-18 Hornet or what will soon be the F-35, the number of dials and pieces of data that are available, each of which, serves an important function in the performance of that aircraft. I mean, there is literally thousands of pieces of data. However, in the heads-up display, which once upon a time was in the front screen, these days it's actually in the visor, there's 4 or 5 key things that the pilot has reference to just like that. And of course, the most important thing generally is where's the ground and how much fuel do I have left, right? And it's the same with salespeople, right? So yes, in the background and in the dashboard that you guys have built for us, there are lots and lots of really interesting data points that we can dig into. And if I stick with the heads-up display, I can look down and look at that detail if I want to. But at the same time, I've also got a heads-up display that tells me where's the ground and how much fuel have I got left. So yeah, really, really powerful stuff to be able to combine the two. Lots of depth behind the scenes, but presented simply that I can respond to in the moment.
Exactly. Yeah, that's brilliant. And I think that's you hit it on the nail on the head in terms of really kind of understanding the situation and how important it is to get that right as well. So in terms of like, we'd known each other for a little while already, or 12 months or 18 months,
Yep.
or whatever, how long it's been before you engaged us. But for you, like when you're at that point in making that decision, why did you decide to go with us versus there's plenty of other dashboard tools out there, people building dashboards, you've got freelancers, you've got lots of other kind of options. Like why get us to help you with that?
Because you're the man. So you might remember I actually put a post in a couple of different groups, I think, on FB, and a whole bunch of people. And why I didn't think of you right off the cuff, I don't know. And it's probably because you just had not been visible to me for a few months. But a whole bunch of people said, Cullen Bregman, Cullen Bregman, Cullen Bregman, Cullen Bregman. And it was just like, why did I not do that myself, right? Because I know what you do and I know how well you do it. And I've spoken with a whole bunch of different people that I know you've done business with and for, just as on the side kind of conversations. So yeah, that was why you're the man.
Excellent. And so in terms of the process for you, like, how did you find that? I know there was going through that situation, and our communication, all that sort of thing, like we were kind of chasing you up to kind of get things over the line from our perspective. But what was that experience like for you going through?
It was great, man. It has been really, really good. In the very first instance, you personally were very quickly attuned to what it was that I was trying to achieve. Your interpretation of what I wanted it to deliver to me and what it might look and feel like, was in tune, right on the money straight away, which was great. You got the first iteration of it to me quickly, and that communication thing, it's entirely my fault. Nothing to do with you guys. You are on it, all the time. So it's, I just got busy and it slipped off the priority list.
Sure.
When I did come back to you and said, okay, I wouldn't mind moving this around here and turning that one this way and all that kind of thing. Again, done very, very quickly. Very clear understanding of what I was asking for, no pushback on it, and what was delivered was seamless, smooth, polished. It's great.
Thank you, James. So in kind of rounding, a couple of quick questions. So in terms of then for you guys moving forward, what role does this play as we're kind of rolling it out? I know we kind of got the initial one for the initial salesperson for a client of yours, but what does the vision look like as this becomes an integral part?
Okay. So Jim Collins, author of the book Good to Great, talks about disciplined people applying disciplined thought and taking disciplined action, right? What this is designed to do with my clients is to instill the disciplines around sales execution, right? So, what we'll be doing with our clients, and we're putting a new offer out to our clients now, and that is they've got the option of, when we find somebody for them and they start, a couple of weeks after they've started, we will then start rolling out this dashboard with them, right? And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be meeting with the salesperson and the business owner, now sales manager. In the first month, we'll meet with them for 1 hour per week to review all of the activity and the data. Months 2 and 3, we'll meet with them once a fortnight, and then months 4, 5, and 6, we'll do once monthly. But over the period of that time, what we're going to be doing is instilling the disciplines with the salesperson around the collection of the data and the interpretation of the data, but ultimately it's around the activity. And we'll also be instilling the disciplines with the business owner of how to be an effective sales manager that, strikes that nice balance between holding their salesperson accountable, but also coaching them and counseling them and guiding them and all that kind of thing. And the intent is, we will then break free from them at the end of that 6-month period. And but the intent is that they'll continue with the dashboard, and it may well be that they get to a point where they want something that's a bit more sophisticated. What we're doing to begin with is keeping it as simple as possible so that we can instill the disciplines.
100%. And so then in terms of anyone else out there that's kind of in a position, obviously I'm talking more broadly outside sales, but in a more general sense, like there's so many people we talk to that are kind of like, oh, it's kind of a nice to have versus the timing being right and seeing the direct tangible value. And obviously as a thing itself, right, a dashboard is just a tool, and we talk about that quite regularly. But the reality is it can have quite a significant impact on changing the cultural kind of approach towards performance management and visibility across metrics and accountability in teams and data-driven decision-making and all that sort of stuff, right? It becomes a key player. So from your perspective, like what advice would you give to someone who's kind of out there on the fence, sees the value, but maybe isn't really clear on exactly how it might apply to their business?
Yeah, look, it's a hackneyed phrase, but it's hackneyed for a reason. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it, right? It's just as simple as that. And and as your business gets bigger and you've got more and more people doing more and more things, if you don't have a discipline of measuring and reviewing, measuring and reviewing, measuring and reviewing, how the hell do you know if you're off course, right? I mean, people talk about the lunar missions and how the lunar spacecraft would never ever be more than 3 degrees off course before there was course correction kicking in. Well, how did they know that it was 3 degrees off? Obviously, because they had a dashboard. And it's just as simple as that, really. It's like you wouldn't get into a car and not have a dashboard and use the dashboard. So your business is on a journey. It's going somewhere. There's a destination that it's attempting to arrive at some stage or other. If you don't have the dashboard, the likelihood of you getting there absolutely is greatly diminished, right? You're going to get taken by surprise.
Thank you so much, James. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure, mate.